Hi, I'm Gabe Newell.
The Steam.
And thus was born the microtransaction.
$4.7 million, chat.
Despite seemingly doing nothing, Steam just keeps on trucking and earning millions of dollars.
Valve earns $50 million per employee, numbers that wouldn't embarrass American giants like Palantir or even Google. Yet Valve, the owner of the Steam platform, has never listed its shares on public markets. It's a company built from the ground up. You can compare it to a one-person business, outperforming corporations with hundreds of thousands of investors. According to data compiled by Alinea Analytics, the Steam platform alone has generated around $16.2 billion in revenue this year. The next few years are expected to be even better. For comparison, Palantir, which recently broke into the top 20 US companies by market capitalization, generated revenue of about $2.9 billion for fiscal year 2024. So a heavyweight selling AI solutions to the military, signing contracts with entire countries like Germany, delivering tools to Ukraine, and building full AI platforms for enterprises still trails a team of just over 300 people at Valve who built a games platform so good it earns more than AI conglomerates. As a private company, Valve does not publish financial reports. That's why we rely on leaks, analyses, court documents, and what can be inferred from sales of individual titles on the platform.
And the ones they've decided to keep tell us a lot about Valve's thinking. Once upon a time, they were really best known for single-player experiences, games where you pay once and you had all of the content. However, ever since the release of Team Fortress 2, an online multiplayer shooter, they realized you didn't need to make new games to make money. You needed to make more money from the games you'd already created. And thus was born the microtransaction.
Add to that the skins market, valued at around $5 billion for Counter-Strike alone. Souvenirs like the AWP Dragon Lore can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the Blue Gem knife has gone for $2 million, and there are people willing to pay that much, trusting Steam's stability. So today, we'll look at the phenomenon of this platform, how it reached such staggering profits, how it plans to beat PlayStation and Xbox, and why its model is so timeless, so well honed that even regulation can't topple what they've built. Welcome to today's episode.
My name is Mike Harrington. I was co-founder at Valve. I wasn't really used to big companies. When I started at Microsoft, it wasn't that big. It was like 1,500 people, like a big high school. 9 years later, it was significantly bigger. I'm thinking, oh, this place is too big. And that was still like 1996. So they had a long ways to go. I told my managers like a year before, like, I'm leaving in a year and I'm going to start a game company.
Steam was born from a very specific problem that Valve, founded in 1996 by Gabe Newell and Mike Harrington, had to solve in the early 2000s.
On the surface, we should have failed. And realistically, both Mike and I thought we would get about a year into it, realize we'd made horrible mistakes, and go back to our friends at Microsoft and ask for our jobs back. But we did think that we knew a fair bit about software development, that there were expertise that goes into it. I think we also had some pretty clear ideas of how to design a company, right? So when we were building Half-Life, we were also designing Valve at the same time.
We were either amateurs working in our homes at night for fun, or some people were from the software world, but they had never worked on a game. I think we had 3 or 4 people in the entire company who had actually shipped a game when we started Half-Life.
Newell, a former Microsoft employee, saw after the release of the cult Half-Life 1998 that the traditional game distribution model was cracking. Updates were getting bigger, patches were hard to deliver, and online games needed constant support.
There are a bunch of things that we were doing that we thought would help us tackle the problem of what video games were. And what video games were a rapidly changing field where, at the time, 90% of video games failed to turn a profit. And a few percentage of them were very, very profitable, right? So it was a field that really valued talent.
That's when Gabe envisioned an online platform that would solve all these issues in one place. The first public mention of Steam appeared in 2002, when Valve announced it was working on a system for automatic updates and digital distribution. The concept was revolutionary at the time. Players would download games without boxes and discs. The idea met with deep skepticism. Many thought digital sales were too bold an experiment. Even so, Valve took the risk. On March 22nd, 2003, Steam officially launched. Initially, it served mainly as an update platform for Counter-Strike and other Valve games.
Half-Life comes out, it changes the PC gaming world. It's the most amazing game ever made for its time. And two college kids took Half-Life and made this game called Counter-Strike as a free modification that you just download.
At the time, I was really interested in counter-terrorist forces. That level of sophistication in terms of the weaponry, in terms of the tactics, I thought that would make a great theme for a game.
Early on, we had to beg people to help us out. Even just to get playtesters, we had to beg people, hey, do you want to come play our mod? And a lot of people would be like, no thanks, not interested. So we just kind of put it out there thinking, a couple hundred people might think it was cool.
The real breakthrough came in November 2004, when Half-Life 2 was tied to Steam. To play, you had to activate the game through the new platform. That move was highly controversial then, but it effectively brought millions of players into digital distribution.
So when Counter-Strike first became a Valve property, one of the immediate tasks was to figure out what was going on with updates.
Having Steam to automatically do your updates for you is almost life-changing at this point.
Whereas actually back then, when the patch comes out, that's depressing because now I know I'm not going to be playing for 2 days because not only do I have to download it, which will take me many hours, but the download speed's going to go a lot slower because there was no Steam. So as a result, everyone in the world is now trying to download that one patch from that one server.
That was really the genesis of the idea for Steam, was to figure out how could we automatically update all these folks.
Steam grew rapidly in the following years. In 2007, Valve introduced Steam Community, giving users profiles, friend lists, and groups. A year later, it launched Steamworks, a toolkit for game creators that made Steam attractive for developers. In 2010, the platform surpassed 30 million users, and Gabe Newell, already an icon of the gaming world, spoke more boldly in interviews about the future of digital sales. The year 2012 brought another shift. The store opened widely to indie games, initially through the Greenlight program. Though that system was chaotic, it paved the way for thousands of smaller creators. In 2013 came the famous seasonal sales, now one of Steam's hallmarks and an internet meme. Gabe Newell, as the figure handing out games for pennies, still follows the community today. Valve didn't intend to limit itself to distribution alone. In 2015, it unveiled the first version of Steam VR and a partnership with HTC on the Vive headset, later developing its own VR tech. In 2022, the company entered the handheld market with the Steam Deck, a portable PC that lets you play your Steam library like on a console. The project proved a success and cemented Valve's status as an unusual company. Small, lacking a traditional hierarchy, slow to act, yet building things that changed the market.
Who are you?
I'm Gabe Newell.
Through it all, Gabe Newell remained the face of Valve, a man with self-deprecating humor who became a meme, but also one of the industry's key visionaries.
Wait, is that Gabe?
Come on, not every dude with a beard.
Hi, this is Gabe.
His approach, experiment, don't rush, don't worry about the competition, shaped both Valve's games, Portal, Team Fortress 2, Left 4 Dead, Dota 2, and the Steam platform itself, which eventually became the world's largest game store.
You'd have these conversations where you'd be sitting in a design review and somebody'd say, that's not realistic. And you're like, okay, what does that have to, explain to me why that's interesting, because in the real world, I have to write up lists of stuff I have to go to the grocery store to buy. And I have never thought to myself that realism is fun. I go play games to have.
Just a few weeks after the update that was supposed to destroy the market, it turned out some skins even went up in price, and everything returned to previous levels. In recent months, this is what the charts of CS2 skin values looked like, and for comparison, the S&P 500, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Some skins delivered better returns than Bitcoin. For example, cases that cost 10 to 20 grozy now sell for as much as 500 SSS. So $1 billion evaporated and $1 billion came back, but the scale of Valve's business is truly enormous. Personally, I can believe the money they have, thanks to Steam, could place the company among the most powerful in the world. It's all thanks to games, but when Steam can grow outside of tight control, we should look at the innovations they have already introduced and how they navigate certain regulations, and what they want to do next, because Gabe Newell and his team have no intention of stopping. By the way, Gabe recently bought a pretty nice yacht, and during the pandemic, he moved his entire family and key colleagues to an isolated estate like a private little town. So he is indeed a wealthy man, but with a good head on his shoulders, he's earned what he has. Steam makes its own consoles, among them the Steam Deck and now the Steam Machine, which will be nothing less than a PlayStation or Xbox, similar specs and game prices that are hard to beat, since Steam almost always has them cheapest. With its own consoles, Valve could fully monopolize the games market, not to mention the profits this company could generate in the coming years. And what does it earn the most on right now? The model is extremely simple. By default, Steam takes a 30% cut on game sales. The developer gets roughly 70% of the sale price. Only for multi-million selling productions can rates be meaningfully negotiated, but the differences aren't huge, usually around 15%. On top of that, Valve is behind some of the most playable titles in the world, Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, and Team Fortress 2, though here too we lack public data on exactly how much Valve makes. But here's a simple example of what we do know. According to CS on Money, on average 40 million cases are opened in CS2 each month. Opening one case costs about 10 złoty plus the value of the case. Prices vary a lot, some go for 500 złoty, others for 1 złoty. But from loot boxes in this single game, Valve could be making as much as $500 million a month. We're working with speculative data, but even if that figure were cut in half, it would still be staggering. Without outside investors, Valve has acquired its own office tower in Bellevue, Washington in the United States, and several distributed outposts, including in New Zealand, all with a staff of 300 people. Of course, there are indirect teams for other games and initiatives, but even so, what Gabe Newell has built shows that sometimes you can stay in the shadows and still create a powerful brand. Items from Counter-Strike and other Steam games are becoming more valuable, and those who bought them in 2014/2015 are millionaires today. Valve commands a powerful brand and expertise anyone would envy. They've lived through several eras of gaming already. Even when the EU bans loot boxes, Gabe and his team quickly introduced cases with skin rentals, or a pick-only-one option, or randomizing the possibility of purchase, like in the so-called Genesis case. So, having followed Valve's moves for many years, I can see what a great business these people have built. If they manage to conquer the console segment, I'll be able to say with confidence that this is one of the wealthiest companies on earth, one that will never have to tell you how much it really made under its current structure, and I think tens of billions of dollars in profit aren't a distant prospect for them. Gabe himself is a likable figure who doesn't take himself too seriously, including about his weight, and that's probably what people like most. Naturalness paired with professionalism. That may be the key to Valve's success. That's all from me for today. Let me know if you use Steam and what you play. Thanks and take care. See you next time.